In this video, we're going to take a look at what happens when we take a number line, which we're going to draw horizontally. We're going to put a mark in the middle for 0, and then we're going to count in the positive direction 1, 2, 3, 4, and then -1, -2, -3, -4, kind of off to the left of the 0. Okay, so this is our traditional number line. This is going to be our horizontal number line or horizontal axis, which will also refer to our x values when we start to plot points. We're going to then take another number line, except we're going to draw it vertically. And we're going to have it go through 0, 0. And this point here, we're going to say is 0. Then we're going to, as we go up, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if we go down below the 0, we're going to have -1, -2, -3, and -4. This is what forms what we call the coordinate plane. Now the coordinate plane is drawn into four spaces. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We call these quadrants. Quad coming from the root of 4. So we have our first quadrant, we say is up here in the upper right, and we use Roman numerals, okay, to denote the different quadrants. So this is going to be quadrant 2. Down here is going to be quadrant 3. Okay, and we have quadrant 4. The other important name to know for as far as places on this coordinate plane is this point right here in the center is going to be the most important part. This is what we call the origin. Okay, it's kind of where the number lines originate from. It's called our origin. And we say that's going to be given the value of 0, 0. Oh, and the other important thing is our vertical axis, just like we have the horizontal axis, our vertical axis gives us what our y values are. Okay, so this is sort of the important vocabulary. Now when we begin to look more carefully sort of at these different parts of the graph, okay, we can plot a point. Say for example, right here. Oh, actually, let me go ahead and move that over a little bit. Let's go ahead and pick this point right over here. Okay, every point is given 2 coordinates. The first value that's listed is x, referring to how far over on the x-axis do I need to go. In this case, this point is going to be at +7, meaning I have to go 7 to the right. So for the x value, if the x value is positive, it means I move right. And then if it's negative, I'm going to move to the left. So just to show, say it was -7. I always start at 0, 0. So I would start here, and then I would go left to -7 if this was a negative value. But since it's positive, I'm going to go to the right. And then my second value, let me go ahead and rewrite this. Shoot, I can't. Oh well. My positive value, or my second value, is what my y value is. In this case, okay, it's 7, comma, and I would go up 1, 2, 3 spaces. Okay, so it would be 7, comma 3. And then I put the parentheses around to denote that it's an actual point that I'm given. Okay, so if the y value is positive, I would go up, and if it's negative, I would go down from wherever I am on the x-axis. So it kind of gives us the coordinates that, okay, I start here, I'm going to go over to the right 7 and up 3. Okay, this will also tell us things about the quadrants. So if this is quadrant 1, okay, my coordinates will both be positive, both the x value and the y value, because in order to get into this quadrant, I would have to go to the right, and then I would have to go up. Quadrant 2, on the other hand, I would first need to go in the negative direction for x, but then in the positive direction for my y value, because I would have to go up. So I'd have to move to the left and then move up, so it's negative and then positive. So if I'm in the third quadrant, I would need to go to the left and I would need to go down. So for quadrant 3, I'm dealing with values that are both negative for the x and the y. And for quadrant 4, I have the remaining possibility of having a positive x value and a negative y value, meaning that I would have to go to the right and then I have to go down. So right is positive, down is negative. Okay. So this is how I would plot points, is by counting how far over, how far left or to the right, and then how far up or down. Okay. If I were to give you, say, the point, let's go ahead and slide. Okay. Let's go ahead and move this over. Okay. If, for example, I wanted to know where the point -3, -6 is, this would tell me I would go over -3 and I would go down 6. So right here would be point A. Okay. Next thing to keep in mind, when I'm dealing with directions, I can also use the whole idea of kind of a coordinate grid, where north and south are up and down, and west is to the left, east is to the right. So say my point B, I said, is 2 units up from A and 3 units to the right, or 3 units east. So let's go ahead and use that terminology. Let's say it's 2 units or 2 blocks north of A and 3 units or 3 blocks east of it. Okay? So what I would then do is start at A. I would have to go 2 units up, and then I would have to go 3 units to the east, which is in this direction. So my B value would be located right here, which would actually be right on the y-axis. Okay. Hopefully this has been helpful for you in learning the coordinate grid.